I gave her everything. My heart, my dreams, my forever. The wedding dress was ready. The hall was already booked. But just days before our wedding, she looked into my eyes and asked for freedom. Not because she stopped loving me, but because she wanted to feel something more. This isn't a story of betrayal. It's a story of love, quietly breaking. My name is Neil, and I still remember the first moment I saw her, Alina. She was sitting on a wooden bench at a small outdoor gathering. Her laughter was soft, but something about her presence lit up the entire space. Not because she was trying to stand out, but because she didn't care who noticed her. I almost didn't go to that party. I'd had a long day and didn't feel like being around too many strangers. But fate had a different plan. She looked at me when I made a joke and, with a small smile, said, "You think you're charming, huh?" Right then, something inside me changed. That night, we talked for hours. No pretending, no masks, just two strangers slowly opening up to each other. She told me about her childhood, the dreams she chased, and the ones she had to let go. I shared things with her that I'd never told anyone else before, and it felt natural, almost dangerously easy. After that night, I couldn't stay away from her. Our dinners turned into long conversations until sunrise. She stayed over one night, then again, and soon enough, she was practically living with me. Not officially, but her toothbrush and her hoodie said otherwise. 5 months, that's all it took. Yet it felt like home. Alina wasn't quiet. She spoke with passion when she cared. She rolled her eyes when I was being stubborn, and she laughed like the world could never hurt her. She didn't always agree with me, and that's exactly why I loved her. I had never been the romantic type, but with her, I wanted forever. I started looking at rings. Not because I felt pressured, but because I truly wanted her by my side in every chapter of life. Not just the joyful moments, but the difficult ones too. One lazy Sunday morning, I proposed. No spotlight, no big gestures, just sunlight coming through the window, the sound of coffee brewing, and her sitting on the couch in my hoodie, her hair still damp from the shower. I pulled the ring from the kitchen drawer and got down on one knee. She blinked, then cried, and then kissed me like she had waited her entire life for that moment. It felt real, the kind of love people write songs about. We weren't rushing. We weren't trying to prove anything. We just felt right together. Then the wedding planning began, the florist, the venue, the guest list. Her mom cried happy tears. My brother gave me a proud smile. Every part of it felt like a dream I never wanted to wake up from. We still laughed over silly jokes. We still argued over who left the toothpaste cap open. We still held each other close on rainy nights. She'd fall asleep on my chest, and I'd whisper stories in her ear just to hear her soft, steady breathing. I thought we were growing stronger, becoming closer. But then something changed. It started with a simple question. Do you ever get bored of routine? I smiled. Sometimes. But boredom isn't always bad. It can mean peace. She laughed. That's why I love you. You're safe. You're boring in the best way. I smiled back, not knowing she was already drifting away. A few days later, we were curled up on the couch. The TV was on, but I wasn't paying attention. I was watching her. Something was on her mind. I could feel it in the silence. She turned to me and said, "Can I ask you something strange?" I kissed her forehead. Of course. She sat up slowly. Her voice was soft and unsure. What if, before the wedding, we tried something different? My heart skipped. Like what? I asked, already afraid of the answer. She looked into my eyes and said it, an open relationship just for a little while. With boundaries. With honesty. A chance to explore. And just like that, my world fell apart. I stared at her, speechless. She continued. It's not because I don't love you. I do. But I've never been with anyone else. I don't want to wake up 10 years from now and wonder what I missed. I whispered, Am I not enough? She held my hand. You're everything. And that's why I feel safe enough to ask you this. Safe enough to imagine someone else's arms. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just sat there, feeling like the love of my life had burned our future and handed me the match. To her, it was just a conversation. To me, it felt like a quiet goodbye wearing a disguise. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her soft breathing. My heart wasn't racing, it was heavy. She had just asked me to share her soul, while letting her body belong to someone else. She said it wasn't cheating. She said it was honesty. She said it could make us stronger. But in my heart, it felt like a crack had opened between us. And even the smallest cracks grow. The next morning, she walked into the kitchen, hair tied in a bun, holding a mug, wearing one of my old shirts. "Morning," she said, like nothing had changed. But everything had. I looked at her and saw not the woman I loved, but someone I no longer understood. I paused for a second. Then I spoke, calm and steady. "I can't marry you, Alina." Her hand froze mid-sip. She blinked. "What?" "I can't marry you," I repeated. She slowly put the mug down. "Neil, it was just a conversation. We were only talking. I didn't do anything." "You didn't have to," I said softly. "The moment you asked, you gave me the answer I didn't know I needed." Her eyes filled with tears. "So, you're ending this just because I wanted to talk? That's not fair. That's not love." I shook my head. "No, you're right. It's not just about the conversation. It's about what the conversation meant." She crossed her arms. "So what? I'm not allowed to explore how I feel." "You are," I said. "Of course you are. But not while standing at the altar with me. Not while wearing a white dress and promising forever, with one foot already out the door." She looked away, angry, embarrassed, maybe even scared. "You're being dramatic," she whispered. "It was just a thought. A fear. I wanted to talk it through with you. That's what couples do, right?" "No," I said, still calm. "What couples do is protect what they have, not test it like an experiment." The silence that followed was long, cold, and sharp. Then she said something I didn't expect. "So that's it? You're just walking away after everything?" "I'm not walking away," I said. "I'm letting go of someone who started walking before I noticed." She looked at me, eyes wide. And for the first time, I saw something behind her expression, anger, regret. I held out my hand, the engagement ring. She hesitated, looked down at her finger. Then, slowly, painfully, she slid it off and placed it in my palm. It felt warm. It felt heavy, like it still carried every promise we once made. I closed my hand around it, and I swear something inside me cracked, too. Not from rage. Not from hate. Just grief. A quiet, heavy kind of grief. I turned and walked toward the bedroom. She stayed standing there, silent still. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I just shut it, and the silence on the other side felt louder than any scream. Inside that room, I sat on the bed, alone. The same bed we once made together. The same sheets where she fell asleep after late-night talks and long kisses. Now it all felt like a memory I had watched disappear in real time. The next day, I gave her until the evening to pack her things. Not out of anger, but because I needed to breathe. I needed space where my heart could beat without bumping into what we used to be. She left quietly. No dramatic goodbye. No second talk. And what hurt most, she didn't fight for me. Not really. Not once I said, "I'm done." Maybe deep down, she thought I'd beg her to stay. That I'd wait until she had explored enough to come back. But love isn't a holding pattern. It's a choice, made every day. And if someone needs to see what else is out there before choosing you, they've already chosen something else. I didn't cry that night. I didn't get drunk. I didn't break anything. I just sat alone with the sound of nothing and let my chest ache for what could have been. After she left, I didn't block her. Didn't post anything about it. Didn't speak badly about her. I stayed silent. Not because I had nothing to say, but because sometimes silence says everything when someone breaks your heart gently. I returned the wedding ring, canceled the venue, sent polite emails to the caterer, the band, and the planner. Plans have changed. Thank you for your time. Some people reached out. Are you okay? What happened? I told them the truth. She asked for an open relationship a few days before our wedding.
I didn't yell.
I didn't paint her as a villain. I simply told the truth. And the truth did its job.
People started to understand.
And slowly, they began pulling away from her, not out of hatred, but from disappointment. At first, she tried to change the story. He's just old-fashioned. He couldn't handle an open and honest conversation. Some of her friends agreed for a while. But time always tells its own story. She didn't cheat, but she broke something sacred.
Trust.
At work, things shifted for her. The usual smiles by the coffee machine disappeared. Her name got skipped during meetings. Even those who once joked with her started to keep their distance. No one said anything out loud. But she could feel it, the quiet judgment, the subtle coldness. That's when it hit her. Freedom comes with a price. We had already paid for half the wedding. I lost a little. She lost more. The decorator wouldn't refund her deposit. Her dress couldn't be returned. The honeymoon was non-refundable, booked on her card. Over $15,000 gone. We were also planning to move into a new apartment together. The lease was in her name. She signed it early to lock in the deal. Now she was stuck, paying for a 2-bedroom alone. At first, she tried to act strong. Posted motivational quotes. Talked about self-growth. But slowly, the post stopped. The smiling photos faded. The silence returned. I never reached out. Not because I hated her, but because I finally understood. If someone needs to lose you to find themselves, you are never part of their future. She thought I'd wait. That I'd understand. That I'd hold the door open while she explored. But I wasn't a checkpoint. I wasn't a backup plan. I was a man ready to love one woman fully. And she wasn't ready for that. She once told me, I thought asking made me brave. Maybe it did. But sometimes, bravery without wisdom is just destruction in disguise. Now, months later, I still think about her. Not with hate, but with a strange mix of sadness and peace. I loved her deeply. Truly. But love can't survive where doubt grows. And love doesn't wait in line for its turn. Sometimes, the most painful lesson is this. If someone needs to try others to know if you're the one, you're not. I still make coffee in the mornings. Still sit on the same couch. But now it's quiet, not lonely, just honest. I'm healing. I'm learning to laugh again. And maybe, one day, if someone asks me what happened between me and Alina, I'll just smile and say, she wanted freedom. I wanted forever. So we both got what we asked for.